barracks for you to play. Mini War Gaming's Beat Matt Bat Rap.
Welcome back to Beat Matt Bat Rep. This is Imperial Guard Canadians versus Necrons Battle Report, entering into Imperial Guard turn 3. No more night fighting, so he's going to get some clear shooting at this point. Moves back one of his chimeras to unload his guys. He really wants to take care of the Scarab Swarms that just killed his Vendetta to make sure that they cannot continue to do more damage. Everybody, this group is moving up to charge into the Scarab Swarms. As much as those Sentinels are staying alive, there's no way they're going to win that fight. Regrouping his heavy weapons team, they do regroup and move 3 inches. They're going to prepare to charge in with that Overlord, as well as these veterans. What he's hoping to do is just overwhelm the Overlord, even though they're not going to hit him very well. If he gets that many attacks, statistically, he should be able to take it down. Opening fire on the Scarab Swarms. Lots of shots here, and doing lots of damage. 4 wounds. I do make... I don't think I made hardly any of the saves there, actually. And so 2 of them do go down. And then firing on the other 2 with the last cannon team. Now, thankfully, I get a cover save now that he killed the 2 in the back. And firing more on them, but I do make all my cover saves. So the last 2 Scarab Swarms do survive, which is a big deal. The battle tank firing on the Immortals. Now the Immortals are out in the open. There's no cover saves on any of these hits, so he can just feel free to do tons of damage. Thankfully, his heavy plasma cannons did scatter and do minimal damage. And he ended up killing 3 there with that, and then 3 heavy bolters, managing to kill another one. Or sorry, he killed 6 in total there. So 6 Immortals go down, so that group definitely took some heavy casualties. The Medusa firing next into them. Once again, thankfully scattering off and hitting only 2, taking them down because they do not get cover from that. So we're up to 8 casualties. Last cannon team fires at the Scarab Swarms, manages only 1 hit and 1 wound, but I do make the cover save. Then the Chimera fires at them, although I realize now that I don't think he was supposed to be able to fire, but it doesn't really matter. He doesn't do any damage. And then we get the Melta shots coming from the veterans there, firing into the Scarab Swarms, killing 1 of them. And I realize another mistake we made there because they're about to charge into the Overlord. Then the Vendetta fires into them and manages 2 hits and 2 wounds, but I fail the last save, and they do go down. Then we get the fire from the other battle tank into the Warriors. It scatters big time, but that actually lands them right into the other Warriors. And with the Plasma Cannon, gets a direct hit, and with the other Plasma Cannon, gets a direct hit. So lots of hits, lots of wounds, takes down with the heavy bolters while firing into there. Takes down a total of 9 of the Warriors. So severe losses on that side right there. Immortals lost 8. Now do they run? They do not. How many of the 8 come back on a 4+? 4 of them come back. There was no force there, though, so the Resurrection Orb did not help. But still, total of 437 points came back so far. The Warriors do not run. Out of the 9, 4 of them only stand up, so a little below average, but can't complain. There's still lots there. That's a total of 489 points that have now come back. Charging in with his platoon. And so this is where we made the mistake. He shouldn't have been able to charge the Overlord as he fired these guys at the Scarab Swarms, even though they didn't do any damage. But it doesn't really matter, as you will soon see. The veterans then are these other Acadians charge into the Scarab Swarms, all attacking the Overlord. Manage 2 wounds on him, and he fails 1 of his saves, so he's down to 1 final wound. He hits back on the heavy weapons teams because he can insta-kill them. Hits 3 times and wounds 3 times, killing all 3. One of them already had a wound on him, so that's 5 wounds that he takes. So he loses by 5. His command squad does manage to stay still, which is too bad for me, but his other squad does run off the board. So as you can see, it didn't make a difference as they weren't able to do much damage there. And then fighting against the Overlord, does not manage to kill the Overlord. Attacking the Lich Guard, manages to wound, but does not manage to kill any of them. Attacking the Scarabs, doesn't manage to hit. The Acadians there then manage to swipe at the Scarab Swarms, inflicting 4 wounds, killing 1 of the bases and a couple wounds on the other one. And then hitting back with 1 of the Scarab Swarms on them, managed 1 wound, and he does fail that save, so 1 Acadian does go down. Focusing the rest on the Sentinels as they really want to strip their armor down. Only 3 hits, but do manage to strip off 2 more armor. As you can see, we're spreading them out now. The Lich Guard then hitting, as they can actually do damage with their Strength 5 against the front armor of 10, but they don't manage to do anything. Only 1 hit from the Overlord, and only manages to destroy a weapon. So all 3 of them have lost their heavy plasma cannons, but that's it. So once again, everybody tar-pitted in that center battle. Necrons turn 3, moving my Scarab Swarms over, hoping I can run over into his vehicles if I get a good run. Immortals move up, they don't do very well with their difficult terrain. I roll a 1 again on their run. If they had rolled a 5 or 6, they could have charged at Lehman Russ, but now they're going to have to charge into the Sentinels. Firing with the Cryptek, and 3 of the Warriors who stood still into his last cannon team, managed 2 wounds, but he does make both his cover saves as he's inside that building. These ones firing into the Chimera. No, the Chimera could fire last turn. It's this turn right here, as you're about to see. He does get 2 glancing hits. He fails both his cover saves. And here I rip off a weapon and shake the vehicle. So next turn it can't fire. The Immortals then charge into combat. Sure, their initiative is dropped to 1, but they were already lower than the Cadians anyways. And the 2 Scarab Swarms are just in range to charge into that battle as well. So Overlord does not take any wounds, hits back, hits 2 times, only does 1 wound, kills 1 more guy. Do they run? They do not. Sentinel tries to kill the Overlord, fails. Other Sentinel attacks the Lich Guard, manages to wound, but they do save. And then the last one on the Scarab Swarms, and manages to hit, but does not wound again. A couple of these guys, the Cadians will hit the Immortals, don't do any damage. The other ones attack the Scarab Swarms and manage to inflict 3 wounds, but only 1 of them is lost. But that's enough to kill 1 of the bases. 10 hits from the Scarab Swarms. Manage to inflict 2 more of the armor loss, but don't manage to glance at all. The other ones only get 1 of their hits, but they do manage to strip down a bit of armor. But it's not enough that they can do any damage against the one that they're up against. The Immortals then attacking the Cadians. They get a few hits in there. They actually manage to do some damage, and only 2 of the Cadians go down to that. The rest make their armor saves. The Overlord then attacks, hits all 3 times. It gets 3 penetrating hits, and out of that, a weapon destroyed, as all we see. But they all had their weapons destroyed, so that counts as immobilized, which destroys a vehicle. The Lich Guard, on the other hand, had a lot more success and managed to kill off the last 2 Sentinels, so major losses there. And he had to roll a double 1 in order to not run away, and he actually gets overrun by my guys. So that does leave all those guys out in the open for Imperial Guard turn 4, as we're about to head into. End of round 3, I did all my consolidation as much as possible. I moved my Scarab Swarms back, and that way they would get cover behind the Lich Guard as long as the Lich Guard stayed alive. But still precarious here. I've managed to push through into his front lines, as on the left flank as well. The Overlord single-handedly is killing a lot of guys on his one flank. And then the Lich Guard with the Scarab Swarms and Immortals charging into the center have managed to do some damage. But this game is far from over. As you can see, there's still plenty of firepower left with the Imperial Guard, and the Necrons are having a hard time staying alive on his side. So go ahead and watch part 4 now. Click on the annotation if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Mini Wargaming, click the link below. And don't forget to subscribe.